Yeah,
All
let's do
right,
it.
Team Freedom Builders, you guys are in the house. So here we are, December 18th, our last call before the end of the year, before we move into 2017. So I want to thank you guys for being here. I know Sunday nights are a busy time, they're family time, and especially at this time of year, it's crazy busy, but you guys are committed, you're dedicated, you're focused. You guys have goals and intentions, and that's why you're showing up, and I appreciate it because you guys have been consistently here through the last few months. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Give yourselves a big pat on the back for being here. Yay. There we go. I also just want to mention, if you guys are listening in the record mode, if you happen to have caught this recording and you don't know who we are and what we're doing, we are Isagenix Associates. We are part of the pod of the tree called Team Freedom Tribe, and we are super stoked about what we have here in our Isagenix community and in our Isagenix company. We are all associates who eat the food. We've all had different transformations physically as well as some of us financially. And we don't make any claims to treat, prevent, cure, or diagnose any illness or disease. But what we do promise is that amazing things can happen when you put the products in your body and you follow the systems. Then really cool things can happen as well. From a financial standpoint, what you put into it is what you'll get out of it. And so again, you know, there's an opportunity here to use Isagenix as a vehicle to create the life from a physical and a financial standpoint that you desire. So tonight's call, what I want to do is just kind of do a bit of a wrap up of the year. I thought it would be a great time for us to not focus so much on business and skills building, but the reason that we all are part of Isagenix is because it came to us at a point in our lives when we were maybe looking for something. We were looking for something to help us transform our bodies. We were looking something to help us with our energy, you know, maybe to change our weight, maybe to increase our energy and performance, whatever that is. And some of us were looking at another way to increase our bottom line because maybe what we were doing wasn't working and we didn't think we could keep going the way that we were going. I know that's part of the way it was for me. So tonight is going to be a little bit of a powwow, a bit of a talk about our year in review. We're going to look at where we come from, what have we accomplished, where are we now, and where do we want to go. Now, I am not the authority on all of this, but I have spent a lot of time and money and, you know, spent many hours. Look at Renata's got her vision board there for us. Woohoo! Exactly. We're gonna get into, you know, some of that, but I wanted to just, you know, I've spent a lot of time doing a lot of different things, and what I'm going to share with you tonight is just some of the things that have worked really well for me and what I've really adopted in the last year that has really helped me transform myself from a personal growth perspective, which of course we all know filters into relationships, filters into our businesses, filters into how we lead our people, how we work together as a team, and everything else. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. Sound good? Awesome. Okay. Yeah, so Renata, you had a vision board party there on Thursday or something, right? Good stuff. What came out of that?
Oh, yeah, it was on Friday, and it was good. I love doing vision boards.
I know.
So I'm just taking some of my stuff from my last year, like certain words and stuff that I re-edit, so I make a new one, and then I rip off stuff if I need to take it, carry it over to the following year. So that's what I'm kind of doing.
Exactly, which is a really great way to do it. And so what I'm going to coach you guys through tonight is I'm just going to talk about a few different things here. How many of you have a vision board right now, an updated vision board? Some of you do. Maybe some of you it's a work in progress. Well, what I've done is I'll show you my vision board, but I've actually taken these 8 areas that I talked about in the outline for the call and created my vision board based on those 8 areas. Some of you guys have seen my board. Let's see if I can show you here, take you on a tour. Mine is like a wall. So it goes, so when I'm sitting at my desk, I see my whole wall. And what I've done is I've created it, whoops, dropped my cord here. I've created it based on these 8 areas. So what I'm gonna get you guys to do is I want you to take your pens and I'm gonna have you write these areas down. So you're gonna write down business, financial, personal, you with me so far? Business, financial, personal, travel and recreation. That's 1 together. Travel and recreation. Okay, so 1 is business, 2 financial, 3 personal, 4 travel and recreation. 5 is relationship or relationships. They're in no specific order, you guys. 6 is training and development. 7 is health and fitness. And 8 is contribution. Now, you may decide to combine those into 5 areas. You may decide to maybe add another 1 or 2. It really doesn't matter. There's no rules on this. But what this does is this helps us segment, the different areas of our life. And what I encourage is that if you guys have ever read any of Darren Hardy's, he does a success journal. There's many different people who have done so many different things. And you can actually follow this little questionnaire where you determine, what areas of your life are you most focused on, or where have you had the most successes? Where are you the more balanced? And, if you look at put these points on this wheel, you can see where there's a big chip out of the wheel based on what part of our life we're not putting as much focus. And I just did this the other day for the 3rd time in a row, and the same place has the big chunk out of the wheel. And I'm like, okay, this year, that hole in that wheel has to get fixed, because that is what's throwing everything off kilter. So what I want you to look at is I would like you guys to just take a few minutes and think about, you can consider these areas, but I just want you to think about the top 3 things that you were focused on in this past year, that maybe you had some intentions, maybe you had some, you'd set some goals on, you had planned to accomplish or planned to change, that perhaps didn't go the way that you wanted them to. Take a few minutes and write down those, maybe there's only 1, maybe there's up to 3, but don't do more than 3. But just think about 3 things that you thought might be different at this point in time. Okay, do you guys have something down on your paper? Okay, so what I would like you to do is I'd like you to think about, what is it that held you back from accomplishing that goal or from making that become a reality? If you could put your finger on one thing that has held you back from accomplishing that goal or making that goal become reality, what would it be? Okay, are we good? Did you get something down? All right, is anyone willing to do a share? Killian, you want to unmute yourself? Thanks for stepping up.
Yeah. My 3 were, my number 1 was health and fitness, with Isagenix fitting in July. That's when I started. 2 was relationships. I just thought I'd be in a relationship by now instead of falling in and out. And 3 is financial. I thought my financial would be a little bit different. My main goal, or my main criticism of myself, is I didn't push hard enough. And when I say push hard enough, I mean from a standpoint of developing a proper scheme of, setting a follow-up and speaking to somebody and prospecting and writing prospects down and whatnot. And just too lax with my approach.
Okay, awesome. Good acknowledgement. Thanks for sharing. I think we can, some of us might be able to relate to that. I know I could relate to some of that myself. Excellent. Does anyone else have a share they want to do?
Sure.
Okay, Altaf, go ahead, bud.
So for my three, one was business, one was training and development, and the last was health and fitness. Business and training and development, it's a lot like what Killian said. My mindset wasn't right. Like I was like in it half the time and not in it half the time.
Mm-hmm.
And with respect to health and fitness, there's just too many injuries, man. Just hurt myself and dealing with that. So that's what kind of kept me away from where I wanted to get to.
Okay. Awesome. And Keith said financial as well. Thanks, Keith. I know your mic's not working that great. Bernardo, did you want to share? Did you?
Yeah, are we talking about, I'm going to tell you some of the things that worked well, because I do a similar 8, but mine are slightly different.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to go into some of that too, but that's
okay. Then I'll just talk about the ones that my one, and this one I've been working on for 4 years and I still haven't achieved, is once a night, a date night with my husband.
Once a week?
I mean, once a week, yeah.
Yes.
Is that what you said? Once a week, a date night with Paul. I think I've been working on this for like 4 years. It still is not happening consistently. So, and one of the reasons now too is just for care for the kids, because a lot of, our help passed and everything.
Yeah.
So that's one that I'm looking at, and we didn't get to that one yet.
Okay.
And obviously business, my financial one is not where I want it to be or expected it to be. And then I think those were my 2 major ones. And my personal goal is pretty consistent. There were a few weeks where it kind of fell out, but those were my 2 probably biggest ones, my financial business and then my relationship goal.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks for sharing. Cool. All right. Before we move on, does anyone else want to step out? Are you good? So probably some commonalities in some of the different things we heard, right? I know I could relate to a lot of those different things. So again, we don't want to dwell on the negative, but it's important to acknowledge, what hasn't happened. And it's important to acknowledge what are some of the things, maybe some of the pattern repeats that we've been on that have kept us in the same place or a similar place, slowly crawling up the hill as opposed to trudging forward. And so what I would like you to do now is I would like you to take a few minutes, and for each of those areas, now this is something you can spend a lot more time on, you guys. I mean, these are some things that you could spend a full day on, even on New Year's Day or something, and really put the time into creating the whole big action plan. But what I would like you to do right now is look at those 8 areas, and I would like you to put down if I were to say my top 3 goals in this area for 2017, just off the top of your head, you may change them, they may evolve, and that's okay. But as it stands right now, what are my top 3 goals for my business this year? And this isn't just Isagenix. This can be, in your career and otherwise. What are my top 3 financial goals this year? And if you're the type of person who likes to time chunk it, you could say in the next year, you could say in the next 90 days, and you could say in the next 30 days. Okay, so let's go from that perspective. And go ahead and write down what your top 3. If you get more, great. At least have one in every section, okay? You guys need another minute? Awesome. Okay, you guys, can we come back? And then you can spend some more time on that after. International base. Good. So Keith threw some of his goals in there, create consultants. So these are some of his Isagenix or business goals. Just be more of a financial impact in his home. Great. Great. Okay, so how was that? Were you guys able to come up with some quickly? You have some things at the top of your mind that you were able to throw in there? Good. If you guys want to open your mics, we can make this a dialogue unless we have background. Great. So part of this, and I know Renata, you said that you do something a little bit different, but this is a template that I've used for probably 3 or 4 years. And what I find interesting is that even though I've done the vision board, I may not always be focusing on everything that I've written down on here. But what's interesting is typically by the end of the year when I do a review, many of these things have come to fruition just because I did put it out there and because I did start to focus on it from a subconscious level. So when you are going through and spending some more time on this, and I'm going to encourage you to, hopefully use this or use something to do your review of where you've come from and now where you want to go. When you look at the top 3 to 5, goals in each of these sections, ask yourself why you want it and write it down. Why do you want it? I'm going to also have you write down what will change for you when this becomes a reality. And how will it impact other people in your life? And how will it bless others beyond yourself and your family? Some of them, they may just be a personal thing, like I'd like a new wardrobe, or it might just be something I want to be able to take my girlfriends to the spa every quarter, or, do a team retreat once a year or something like that. Whatever those things are, I know those are some of the things that I have written down. Whatever those things are, ask yourself the question, why do I want it? What will change for me as a result of achieving it? And how will it impact other people in my life as well as beyond, outside of myself, outside of my family? Okay, cool. All right, this time goes so fast. So what I wanted to do, how many of you guys ever heard of the book, The Miracle Morning for Network Marketers? So this is a book that Aaron Postel shared on the CEO call a couple of weeks ago. So the book is called The Miracle Morning. I think the guy's name is Hal Elrod. Hal, H-A-L, Elrod, E-L-R-O-D. How many of you have a morning or a personal growth plan that you follow every day? Maybe most days? Okay, some days kind of thing? Okay, yeah, sometimes we miss a day or two. So you've benefited probably from the power in doing it somewhat consistently, right? Those days that you start your day with your personal growth plan, get yourself up a little earlier, have a little time to do your meditation, your journaling, your goal reading, affirmations, whatever that is. Do you notice that your days go a lot different than the days that you let that ride? Have you ever noticed that? Yeah. So here's an acronym I'm going to give to you. And again, this is from the book, The Miracle Morning. There's one, just The Miracle Morning, and then there's one for network marketers that I've been listening to on audio. I actually want to get the written book because I find with this one, I want to be able to market and utilize the book again. So I'm going to have you write down this acronym, and the acronym is SAVERS, S-A-V-E-R-S. Just write that down like the side of your paper, S-A-V like Victor, E-R-S. So what is suggested is that, to those people, when you do any listening or any listening to podcasts, you listen to Tony Robbins or Robin Sharma or any of the greats, they start their day early. They get their ass out of bed. They do their morning routine. They focus on what is important to them first and foremost before anything else starts invading their day or taking up, their day, right? Before they turn their phones on, before any of that stuff happens, before the family is awake, it's important to give yourself that sacred time to start your day. So the first S is silence. And it stands for, 5 to 10 minutes of some breathing exercises. You could get an app on your phone. There's one called Headspace. They're 10-minute meditations to start your day. And typically what I suggest is I put my phone on the other side of my room now, so I have to get out of bed. So I have to get out of bed, or I put it in the bathroom, so I have to go into the bathroom, and then I'll, go in my bathroom, do my thing, and then I'm like up. So I'm not going to go climb back in bed. If you're going to do 10 minutes of silence, do not do it horizontal. Sit in a chair, sit on your meditation pillow, create your little Zen space, whatever that is, but get your butt out of bed to do that 10 minutes, okay? Because it's meant to be active meditation. It's not meant to be fall back to sleep and hit the snooze, okay? So having that time in the morning to just clear your head and start your day in peace without thinking, oh my gosh, what do I have to get done? Kids are going to be up soon, blah, right? The A stands for affirmations. Do you guys have some affirmations written down? Yeah, good. Do you read your affirmations every day? Morning and night? Great. Some of you do. I know you guys, Val and Jesse, you guys have gotten in the routine of that. That's great. So the affirmations are really, really key. The key is not to have too many. It's important to have them written in a way that, again, it can encompass the most important things that you're really working towards in your life. It doesn't have to be one for every 8 section or whatever. It just has to be some key things that are really important to you that you're looking to accomplish. And the wording in our affirmations is important, because if you say, I want to, or I wish for, or I'm going to, you're putting it in the future. You want to word it as if you're in the process of achieving it already. So sometimes for some people to make an affirmation statement like I am is like, I've got it tattooed on my arm, is one of the most powerful affirmations ever. Like I am, whatever, I'm strong, I'm peaceful, I am love, I believe, whatever those things are. Those are powerful affirmation statements. But if you say, I'm an Isagenix multi-bajillionaire, it kind of feels like a lie, right? So it's kind of hard to believe it. But if you say, I am in the process of consistently taking action every day in the goal of accomplishing millionaire in Isagenix, or I am in the process of doing the do every day, doing whatever it takes every day to achieve 2-star, or, to assist 5,000 people to join my crew, whatever that is. If you say I am in the process of, or, I am working towards, then do you understand the languaging on that, you guys? Okay. So the affirmations are key. And sometimes what I suggest is if you are not in a place where you can recite those out loud to yourself first thing in the morning or at night because family's around or whatever, record it on your phone and listen to it. And then you can listen to it as much as you want to. All right? Because it also is very visceral, because you hear your own voice. You can put your hand on your heart. You can feel, it's not just about the words that are said, because it's the feeling, right? Because a lot of times, it has to be connected to emotions and feelings, right? It's got to be our head and our heart joined together, or it's not going to happen. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? If you want a new outcome, you have to break the habit of being yourself. So if you've, in the past, been the type of person who, I want wealth, I think wealthy thoughts, but you still feel like you're not wealthy, you still do things in a poverty mindset, or you still do things in a way that is frugal or cheap, or because you're kind of subconsciously thinking, I can't afford that, then you're not believing that wealth is coming. If you have, some of us know this, we have this with our clients or our teammates, is that, they want to release their weight. They want to achieve great things with their health and with their fitness. But in one sense, they're saying, I really want to be an IsaBody finalist, or I really want to be able to wear those size 8 jeans at Christmas. But on the other hand, it's like, well, my family's big. I've always been big. Like, I'm always going to be big. But I really want that. Do you understand the dilemma here? So it's really, really key to have the emotions, the feelings attached with what's going on in your brain, that you're feeling the feelings so that you're attracting it and making it become reality. Okay? The V is visualization. So that ties into visualizing yourself. And again, if you've got this big audacious goal, those are great. Big audacious goals are great. sometimes it's tricky to actually visualize ourselves in the space where we're actually doing that or achieving that or being that. But you can picture yourself doing what is necessary to achieve it. Does that make sense? So you can picture yourself meeting with your teams of people. You can picture yourself having amazing conversations with those scary people that you've been afraid to reach out to. Picture those conversations going really well. You know, think about what you can visualize on that's going to assist you in having your goals become reality. E is exercise. You know, I think we all agree that exercise is an important component. And it's not just from a physical standpoint in terms of how our bodies look, how our muscles grow. It's also for our brains, right? For our mindset. Because when we are strong, when we are powerful, when we are committed and we are doing the do, even when, you know, the moment we felt like doing it and is over and gone, we are going to take action in everything else that we have to do the work to accomplish our goals. Agreed? Right? So it takes 66 days, they say, to create a new habit. So it's about, you know what, you only make the decision one time. Quit making it every day because it's friggin' exhausting. Just decide in the morning, first thing, I'm going to exercise 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be much. Renata knows this. She quotes it all the time. You know, she's done her transformation with power-packed 10 minutes of exercise. If some people have never, you know, we can help your teams with it. If they've never exercised consistently, start with 5 minutes. If you do 5 minutes every day for 4 weeks, all of a sudden you've got a new habit. And then it can go into more because, you know, then you don't just want to do 5 minutes. You want to do more, right? So the exercise is key. The R is for reading. Audiobooks are amazing. I commuted for 13 years and listened to audiobooks every day in the car on the way to work for 3 hours a day. I calculated I listened to about 9,000 hours of books on CD. I would never have read that many books because I was a single mom, 2 boys. I was busy. So if you don't have time to read, that's what the language is. I don't have time to read. How can you read? Audiobooks, can you do 10 minutes a day? Can you do 10 pages a day? You know, again, it's just part of your routine. You wouldn't choose not to shower or brush your teeth. You don't choose not to do your reading. All right? We can only grow our lives to the extent we grow ourselves. And then S is for scribing or writing. And this is not something that not everyone has, you know, practiced throughout their lifetime, but it can be very powerful because a lot of times what comes out through onto paper or onto your computer or whatever is pretty powerful that we don't really even know that we've kind of got in there. So it's good to, you know, vent whatever you're feeling, vent what you're going through, you know, celebrate your wins, you know, just even to start with a question that, you know, I want to, and then fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank. You know, I would love to, fill in the blank, fill in the blank. And eventually you're going to have a whole list of things that by the end of it, you're going to be, you know, contributing to, you know, children who, you know, don't have extracurricular activities. Or all of a sudden, all these things are going to come out of, you know, I want a new car, I wanted this, I wanted that. And then it's going to come into outside of yourself, which is really, really cool how it can happen. So scribing or writing, whatever you want to do is just celebrate your wins, your, you know, your challenges, your gratitudes. Gratitude is huge, right? Gratitude is huge on a daily basis. And we know that if we keep doing what we've always done, we'll keep getting what we've always got. So this is a great time to start to adopt some new routines. And as we move forward into the new year. So as much as I could go on about some of this, and I would love to have more shares from you guys, I do want to respect your time. The visualization, Killian. So I just want you guys to think about the fact that no matter where you are is perfect right now. It may not necessarily be where we want to be. You know, some of us may be thinking that we would be further ahead or, you know, in a different place or whatever. But I truly believe that none of us are here by accident, that all of us are here for specific reasons. I'm talking like on this planet, and I'm talking in this team, in Isagenix, and on this Zoom call. I really do believe that everything, you know, there's a purpose and a plan for everything. And part of the time what we do is we get ourselves in the way of what the plan is. And it's about looking at, you know, what is it that's important to us, what really fuels our soul. Until we bless ourselves, we can't bless other people. Until we, you know, do the do and take the actions and lead by example, we can't ask that of other people. So it's about asking ourselves, you know, how am I showing up? How do I want to show up moving forward? I know, you know, I've got my own lists and sort of evaluations of what this next year is going to look like for me. and very excited about it. I love where things are going with our team, with all of you guys, because I think we're onto something really great with everything that we've got going on here. We've blessed a lot of lives in this team, and there's going to be a lot more lives being blessed this year. A lot more successes. I feel a tipping point happening, and each and every one of you can do anything that any one of the people that you witness or see in Isagenix is doing. Their journey is not your journey. Your journey is your journey. The cool thing is you've created this so far, and now you get to create the next piece. You get to decide, where do I go from here, right? And if we're really willing to pull up our sleeves, to get messy, you know, to fail forward, as we hear all the time, we can really get to a place where, you know, everyone's life on this call and beyond is truly, truly transformed. All those things that you wrote down that you didn't accomplish this year, blowing those out of the water, you know, in 2017 and beyond, because the tipping point is happening. So I wanted to go into a little bit of events, but before I do that, I just wanted to see if there's any takeaways or shares. Renata, I know you do things a little bit different with your goal setting. Do you have anything to add? Do you guys have anything that you want to put out there? No? Okay, was this helpful in some way? Just kind of gets you thinking, right? Okay, great. All right. So Super Saturday, January 21st. And again, we all know the power of the events. This is like an event, right? We know that this weekly infusion is really important. So Saturday, Toronto, Super Saturday, February 21st. Red and white is coming up quickly before we know it. Like we're almost 2 months away. That's crazy, actually. So take a look at yourself where you are, you know, with your 6 new enrollments for the $250. Where are you with the 2 consultants for the $250, plus the leadership meeting, plus the tickets? Or if you do both, you know, if I were to say, okay, Tara, I'm going to give you $1,000 when I see you at Red and White, or you can decide to throw that away. It's up to you. Like, seriously, we're not going to throw that away. So ask yourself, you know, how can I? How can I do this? Don't think about what you can't do. Think about how can I make this happen? Who can I bless to make this happen, right? And just get it done. We can all do it. I think all of us, every one of us on this phone and beyond can get that done. We've got the Crush Your Resolution. Crush Your Resolution is coming out by, if you guys haven't seen the information coming out through Isagenix, they're doing like a company-wide program related to IsaBody. December the 28th is when we're going to be doing like a power post and posting, you know, about IsaBody. I'm going to put the details in Team Freedom Tribe. I'm not completely clear on it. But the whole idea is that when we do the post, we're going to tag 2 to 3 people who have expressed interest before, not necessarily part of Isagenix, but it's just to really create this massive momentum of curiosity about what the heck is this Crush Your Resolution. In combination to that, you know, Renata, Paul, myself, a bunch of us are different coaches are going to be working with you guys and whoever wants to jump on board with this, partnering with the Crush Your Resolution it's called the New Year, New You 2017 IsaBody Transformation Group. And so the whole idea is we'll do some live videos. There'll be nutrition tips. There'll be fitness tips. The group, the Facebook group, because I know God knows we do not need another Facebook group, but the whole intention is that only the people that are admins in the group will be posting in the group. You guys can comment on stuff. You can add your people, all of that. However, it is not meant to be a make work project. It is only meant to be information. So for those new people joining, they're going to get more specifics than they might do in the Freedom Tribe group. But of course, we still want to actively use our Freedom Tribe group. Okay, does that make sense, you guys? Okay, so the flyer is available. I'll get all that into the group tonight so you guys can start to share that. The other thing I want to remind you is that Isagenix is doing corporate-wide Wednesday webinars, half an hour, free enrollment. So again, it's 3 times on a Wednesday for the next 2 weeks, and people are going to get free enrollment. So if you partner that with the Crush Your Resolution and our New Year Challenge, that is a great way to get people started. I believe it's 154 BV or more to get to have the free enrollment. So basically they're starting with, you know, their 30 days or their Pres Packs or whatever. So awesome opportunity. So we'll make sure that that's highlighted in there. If you guys have any questions on that, just let us know. And the other thing I just wanted to say is I just finished another IsaBody. I think this is like 8. That's like $1,600. Like, I was just sitting there thinking to myself, let's really make this year the year that we decide to not let anyone screw up on their IsaBody. Like, let's really stay on top of our people. Seriously though, right? Like, let's stay on top of our people. Let's encourage them. I've started writing down the dates of when my people are finished and, you know, reaching out to them and just saying, hey, you're coming up, you know, you want to get that essay written. When they start, I ask them to write some notes about how they're feeling so that they remember how crap they felt in the beginning. Because when they're feeling great, they usually forget. And let's start really making a point of helping. We're not hand-holding them, you guys, but, you know, it's easy to forget. Like the first few times I didn't finish. Seriously, I started and didn't finish. Threw the $200 away. We don't want our people to throw the $200 away. And what we do and they do, they're going to duplicate, right? Do you guys agree with that? Awesome. All right, so you guys committed to doing that this year, is rocking out all your IsaBodies and finishing them all and helping your people finish them all. That's $600 a year free groceries for an individual, $1,200 for a couple. So there you go. Awesome. If I had a dog, I'd sign him up. Just kidding. All right, you guys, I've kept you long enough. I'm really grateful that you guys came out tonight. It means a lot, and thank you. And I hope that this was, you know, valuable. I just really wanted to take some time to let's move forward with some direction in mind. All right? Okay. Okay, you guys. Thanks for coming out. Love you. Have a great night. Bye, guys. Have an amazing Christmas.